Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Just jumping in really quick. I know I had a premiere that was scheduled for 2 p.m., but we're going to bump that. I just got some breaking news here, and this is a case that I followed on my channel last year. Case of a young lady named Rachel Morin out of Baltimore, Maryland, that went missing back in August of last year. And then just into the investigation a couple of months later, they identified a DNA sample that matched a potential suspect. Then there was some controversy about a video that was released where the suspect had been seen on camera leaving a residence, but you could not see his face. And come to find out today, there's been a break in the case. A suspect has been arrested in connection with Rachel Morin's murder. And we're going to hear a update press conference here pretty soon. But let me read a little bit of this article. So it says Hartford Sheriff to announce update in Rachel Morin's case on Saturday. It says the Hartford County Sheriff's Department will hold a press conference at 2 p.m. Saturday to provide an update on the investigation into the murder of Rachel Morin, a Bel Air mother whose body was found on the side of a hiking trail in August, and that's August of last year, so almost a year. On August 5th, Morin was reported missing by her boyfriend after she had not returned home from the walk. The 37-year-old mother of five was later found dead in a drainage ditch alongside the MA and PA Heritage Trail, the Morin Pa, that's right, forgot about this, the Morin Pa Heritage Trail in Bel Air. You had a tweet here from Hartford Sheriff says Sheriff Galler will be providing a media update on the Rachel Morin homicide investigation at 2 p.m. today. So we're going to air that live. Less than a month after Morin's death, detectives matched DNA from a scene to DNA found in an investigation in California where police say an unidentified man is wanted for residential burglary and assault. And come to find out, this is a illegal migrant that's here in this country. He is in ICE protection right now, in custody, and this is going to get crazy. It's going to get political, but it's just crazy. Security footage from a California home showed a shirtless man walking out of the front door. Detectives from a Hartford County Sheriff Department and Los Angeles Police Department were unable to identify the man and created numerous sketches and profiles of suspect offender. That's pretty much what we have right now. That's all of the language that I can find on this update right now. Let's go over to the Twitter feed and see what the Hartford Sheriff's Department says. Let's see. I'm just going to enlarge this here. Oh, let's go back. It says Sheriff Gallo will be providing a media update on Rachel Morin's homicide investigation at 2 p.m. today. Stay tuned. And 3 hours ago, stay tuned to the Sheriff's Office social media today. Sheriff Gallo will be providing an update information on a major case in the Hartford County Additional. And then they release those details that it is in connection with Rachel Morin. So really, it's great. I mean, this is fantastic, this break in the case. But obviously going to show a lot of the things, and it's going to turn very political in the things that are going on in our country at this present time. And this was back in August 17th of 2023. And we had this wanted poster put out by the Hartford County Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigation Division. And, I remember going through this video multiple times of that ring cam footage. And I mean, I think we went over it for hours and hours just to try to figure out who this is, who this could have been, why did this person do this? Why was this person not arrested at this specific time? So hopefully we get more of that detail in this press conference. So we'll wait here about another 4 minutes till that press conference comes up, and I will go to that hopefully live. We can find the feed. I'm having trouble finding any of the feed, but we will find out what is the major update. Major update. But this is great. This is great for the Morin family and that community, because it really shocked that community to find this woman of five in literally a drainage ditch. And I know there was a lot of speculation about was the boyfriend involved once he was cleared. There was some rumors about possibly her being on a dating app. So hopefully a lot of this gets cleared up today. I wouldn't count too many major details, but I want to find out. We do know the suspect was caught in Oklahoma City. And I think, what was the name that they gave? I'm not sure if they released the suspect's name yet. Let's see. Let's see. CBS News. Okay, let's see CBS News here. Let me just take this off. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Hartford County Sheriff's Office is set to hold a presser on Rachel Morin's case update. Let's see if it's pretty much the same. Not much detail they're giving right now. I think there was a name that was released, but I can't find it. I think it was Victor Martinez, and I don't know the last name. But don't 100% quote me on that. And this release was at 1:10 p.m. So hopefully we can find the presser. Let's see if there's anything coming up yet. Nothing on their Facebook page as of yet. I'll keep checking their actual website. Beautiful day out here in Massachusetts. Beautiful, beautiful day here in Massachusetts. And I have a premiere after this at 3 p.m. Yeah, so Mandy's asking, wasn't this linked to another case in California? There was. It was kind of it looked like a home invasion. And I remember you seeing a hand pushing this guy out the door, and we're like, wait a minute. This seems like someone that he knew, or someone, and that wasn't the story. Apparently, it was an underage girl that had been assaulted at the home and then was pushed outside. And why the cops were never called, or this person was chased after in the neighborhood to find out who did this assault is beyond me. So interesting case. It is beautiful out today. It is beautiful. And thanks for jumping in really quick. Yeah, we'll hear this. This was Victor Martinez Hernandez. Thank you. That is the full name. Thank you so much, Sushi. I knew it was Victor Martinez, and I didn't know if there was a last name or not, but thank you. But this is a great update in this case. Finally, this family can start getting some justice. Let me see if there's any updates on the Twitter. I don't see a feed yet for the case. Hang on for the So I'm just waiting to see if we can find any live feed. Let me see. Any live feed. Nothing. Nothing yet. Nothing on Twitter. It just keeps saying keep updated on the socials. We'll go to Facebook and refresh. Providing immediate update on Rich homicide today at 2 p.m. Let's see. Can we find CBS Baltimore? Let's see. CBS Baltimore. Let me see if I can find. I think we got the feed. I got the feed. Yeah, buddy. All right, I got the feed for CBS Baltimore. Let's get over here. Welcome in, everybody. I'm just trying to get this feed loaded up here. Here we go.
Yet again, but we will wake up to a little bit more cloud cover as we go throughout your day. We're not seeing any chances for rain, which is good. But this added moisture will add a little humidity to our 80s, but overall feel very pleasant for your Sunday
I'll get that
afternoon.
up, Scott. Thank you.
Now, looking at temperatures as we roll into Monday, I do want to highlight these vibrant colors here. Never a good sign. We're dealing with these oranges and reds, just signifying some high pressure and some heat moving into the eastern coast.
Bumping
And
it
you're
to 3
included in that.
o'clock.
And so temperatures are
Breaking
going to
news.
skyrocket.
So that's why we are here.
Rocket as we head into Monday. 90s expected. So give your AC a break this weekend, open up the windows, find ways to be outdoors and enjoy it. Come Monday, it is summer and we are hitting the ground running with the 90s and cranking up the heat even more as we head into the work week. We're looking at 92 for Tuesday and Wednesday. The big change between Wednesday and Friday, not only are we seeing an increase with the 90s, but we are also seeing added humidity. So with the actual temperature being in the lower to middle to even upper 90s, it's going to feel like the triple digits when we factor in those heat indices throughout the week.
This is your CBS News Baltimore update for Saturday, June 15th. I'm Yana Massey. We are updating breaking news that we first brought to you last night on WJZ at 11. A 50-year-old woman is dead and police are investigating after a horrific attack by two stray pit bulls in West Baltimore. This happened in the 2000 block of North Pulaski Street, just a few blocks away from Coppin State. Police say the dogs attacked 3 people. 2 officers did fire their weapons, striking one of those dogs. Both dogs have been recovered by animal control. Commercial shipping traffic is now back in full swing through the newly reopened Fort McHenry Federal Channel. Well, you were looking at a time-lapse video here of the USS Fort Lauderdale, the USS Gonzales, and the Cape Wrath entering the port on Thursday, just in time for Fleet Week. Earlier this week, the final wreckage was cleared from the 700-foot wide and 50-foot deep channel. The focus now turns to I
got it on the Facebook page. All right, let's go to the Facebook page. All right, we'll wait the presser here. I hate the fact that this chat goes. I don't want to see the chat. There we go. So Victor Martinez Hernandez is the suspect that is named. He is a transient illegal migrant and is currently in ICE custody. From what I know of earlier reports, 101 in Glendale today. Wow. All right, let's hear this presser. Sound?
Good afternoon. I'm Christy Hopkins, Director of Media and Public Relations for the Harford County Sheriff's Office. I thank each of you for joining us today as Sheriff Gaylor announces long-awaited and much-anticipated updates in the murder investigation of Rachel Morin. Standing and offering remarks with the sheriff are Bill DeBagno, Special Agent in Charge, FBI, Baltimore Field Office. Evan Campanella, Assistant Special Agent in Charge, HSI, Baltimore Field Office. Allison Healy, Harford County State's Attorney. Also in attendance are Colonel William Davis, Chief Deputy, Harford County Sheriff's Office. Sergeant Christopher Maddox, Criminal Investigations Division, Harford County Sheriff's Office. David Hughes, Deputy Chief, Bel Air Police Department. John Cook, Chief of Staff, Washington, Baltimore, HIDA. Patrick Vincenti, President of the Harford County Council, and members of Rachel's family. After Ms. Healy concludes her remarks, Patty Morin, Rachel's mom, will offer a few remarks as well. She will not be taking questions today. We know that you have many questions for all of us. Please keep in mind that we will try to answer as many as we can, but this investigation is still ongoing, and there are some details we cannot discuss at this time. Again, thank you for joining us, taking your time and dedication to telling Rachel's story. And with that, Sheriff Gaylor.
Thanks, Christy. Good afternoon, everybody. As Christy said, I'm Harford County Sheriff Jeff Gaylor. As everyone's aware, on August 6, 2023, our peaceful Harford County community was rocked when the body of Rachel Morin was discovered in an area just about a mile from here, just off the Ma and Pa hiking trail here just outside the town of Bel Air. In addition to the impact to our local Harford County community, Rachel's murder gained national and even international attention. The young mother of 5, whose life was violently taken in a public location, is one of the safest places in the state. It's not supposed to happen, and it shouldn't have happened. In the days and months since Rachel was murdered, Rachel's family and friends, our Harford County community, and the men and women of the Harford County Sheriff's Office, along with all of our allied partners, have worked tirelessly to bring the individual responsible for her death to justice. Our deputies and our partners have worked this case with persistence and passion for Rachel and for her family every day over the past 10 months. Just over 3 weeks ago, on May 20th, on what should have been Rachel's 38th birthday, and in a poetic coincidence, or perhaps in Rachel's own divine assistance, our investigators uncovered a lead that led us to this day. And on this day, I'm here to tell you, Rachel's murderer is no longer a free man. Hopefully, he will never have the opportunity to walk free again. The lead we received was related to DNA evidence and allowed investigators to finally put a name to the image of the suspect in the video from Los Angeles, which we released 2 weeks after Rachel's death. After we had the video, we knew what he looked like. We knew what he looked like, but we didn't know who he was. With the new DNA evidence, now we know who he is, but we still didn't know where he was. As I have stated many times, this killer could have been laying his head in any community in the country or even in the world, and indeed, that was completely accurate. Over the past 2 weeks, investigators continued their diligent investigation and tracked our suspect all the way from Prince George's County to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Our investigators also obtained an arrest warrant yesterday afternoon, and as the arrest warrant was being issued, we met with Rachel's family, many of whom are with us today, to update them on the case and asked of them an almost impossible request, and that was to keep the information about the identity and the arrest warrant to themselves and protected, to allow investigators the opportunity to try to apprehend this suspect before it was made public in the news, so that our suspect did not have the opportunity to learn that he was wanted and to once again flee. 5 hours after meeting with the family and just before midnight our time, police in Tulsa, Oklahoma, assisted by our federal partners, located and arrested Rachel's murderer, Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez. So far, we have learned that the suspect, now pictured on the screens, is a 23-year-old citizen of El Salvador who illegally crossed the border into the United States in February of 2023. We all suspected that perhaps Rachel was not his first victim. And it's my understanding that this suspect, this monster, fled to the United States illegally after committing the brutal murder of a young woman in El Salvador a month early in January of 2023. Once in our country, and likely emboldened by his anonymity, he brutally attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother during a home invasion in March of 2023 in Los Angeles. And as everyone, I believe, is aware, that was our first DNA match linking Rachel's case to the Los Angeles case. It has been a fear of mine that once we identified this suspect, the result would be exactly this. And I want to now direct these comments to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and to every member of both chambers of Congress.
Wow.
We are 1,800 miles away here in Harford County. We are 1,800 miles away from the southern border, and the American citizens are not safe because of failed immigration policies. This is the second time in just 2 years that an innocent Harford County woman has lost her life to a criminal in our country illegally. Let me repeat that. 1,800 miles from the southern border, and this is the second woman in our county to be killed by an illegal alien. Suspects, in both cases, they are suspects from El Salvador with ties to criminal gangs. Should not be happening. Victor Hernandez did not come here to make a better life for himself or for his family. He came here to escape the crime he committed in El Salvador. He came here and murdered Rachel, and God willing, no one else. But that should have never been allowed to happen. Moving on, I want to make it clear that this case does not get solved, and we do not bring this criminal to justice without the amazing law enforcement teamwork from our local, state, and federal partners. And I mean that in all sincerity. Rachel's homicide does not get solved. There is no arrest without all of us working together. And for that, I want to thank everyone here in the front of the room and all those who aren't here, but I'm going to cover a list in a minute. I want to thank all of them for their assistance to our agency over the past 10 months. We are profoundly grateful for your dedication and support. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, especially the Baltimore Field Office, rendered invaluable assistance throughout the course of the investigation. Similarly, the State Police, Maryland State Police Crime Laboratory contributed greatly with their expertise and resources. I must also say thank you to the Los Angeles Police Department, Department of Homeland Security, Naval Criminal Investigative Services, the Maryland State Police Bel Air Barrack, the U.S. Marshal Service Fugitive Task Force, the Harford County State's Attorney's Office, the Maryland Department of Natural Resources Police, the Bel Air Police Department, Maryland Coordination and Analysis Center, the Baltimore Washington HIDA, the Tulsa, Oklahoma Police Department, El Salvadorian authorities, and the many law enforcement agencies, both state and local, who provided invaluable assistance to the Harford County Sheriff's Office during this investigation. As I think is evident, this was truly a comprehensive law enforcement effort, and I am exceptionally proud of the work done by the collective team and countless others who made last night's arrest in Tulsa possible. I also want to thank the members of our Harford County community for their patience, support, and cooperation throughout this investigation, to include hundreds upon hundreds of tips that our investigators have received. Today, we were able to provide what some like to refer to as closure for Rachel's family and for our Harford County community. I want to thank the members of the Morin family, and you're going to hear from, as Christy said, from Patricia here in a minute, but no questions. They have been by the side of our detectives this entire time, doing anything that they could do to help the investigation and to help our detectives, to help bring this individual that took Rachel's life to justice. I recognize there is nothing that will ever close the door or bring true closure concerning the loss of Rachel, but it is my hope and the hope of all involved working this case that the arrest of this suspect brings her family and our Harford County community some peace. I would like to now ask FBI Baltimore Field Office Special Agent in Charge, William Bono, did I get it right? DeBano, to offer a few remarks.
Thank you, Sheriff Gaylor. Good afternoon. My name is Bill Del Bagno. I'm the Special Agent in charge of the FBI Baltimore Field Office. Today, our focus remains on Rachel, bringing justice for her, finding answers for her family and loved ones, and making sure the violent criminal who so viciously took her life cannot harm anyone else. The FBI is proud to stand united with our partners in the Harford County Sheriff's Office as we announce this arrest. We know nothing can take away the pain and Joe Biden right now Rachel's family and friends have endured.
Both parties need to figure something out quick. This cannot continue. It happens too often.
To the public, keeping our community safe is one of the FBI's highest priorities, and so are the invaluable partnerships required to accomplish this. During the investigation, here's what I can share from the FBI. Our investigative genetic genealogy team in Baltimore worked countless hours to identify the suspect by using crime scene DNA and tracing that DNA to potential family members. Investigators even traveled to El Salvador as part of their efforts to identify this killer. To find the suspect, we provided technical assistance, helping to pinpoint his location. And that brings us to last night, where Tulsa police and FBI agents were able to successfully apprehend and arrest the suspect in Oklahoma. Hartford County and the investigators on this case worked every angle, tirelessly and constantly, never giving up and following every lead and piece of evidence. We thank Hartford County for their partnership and bringing us into the investigation. As Sheriff Gaylor outlined, we thank everyone who helped make this arrest possible. To all those who have been waiting for an arrest to be made, for answers, we hope this brings a sense of justice and some peace. The FBI vows to continue to work every day to keep our community safe and prioritize the partnerships so vital to doing that. Thank you. I will now turn it over to Evan Campanella, the Deputy Special Agent in Charge, HSI, Baltimore.
Thank you, Sec Del Bagno. First off, I would like to thank Sheriff Gaylor for having HSI present for today's announcement. Today's announcement is the culmination of almost 1 year of investigative activity that might not always go noticed by the public. This investigation highlights the cooperation and the collaboration HSI has with its state and local and federal partners. And I'm happy to be here today with Sheriff Gaylor and our partners to announce the arrest of Mr. Martinez Hernandez. I hope that today's announcement, as the sheriff pointed out, will help bring some closure to Rachel's family. And again, I would like to thank Sheriff Gaylor for asking HSI to participate in this investigation and to be here for today's announcement. I would now like to invite Hartford County State's Attorney, Allison Healy, to the podium for her remarks.
Good afternoon. I want to commend the Hartford County Sheriff's Office and other assisting agencies on the hard work, expertise, and diligence identifying and apprehending the suspect in the murder of Rachel Morin. They worked tirelessly on this lengthy and difficult investigation for the public safety of our community and bringing Rachel's family peace, knowing that the next step is prosecution. I will personally be leading the prosecution of this case. While the defendant is innocent until and unless he is proven guilty, Hartford County and our neighboring communities can rest assured that my office will take all steps necessary to ensure that justice is served for Rachel Morin and her family. We have already begun coordinating with the Warrant Apprehension Unit of the Hartford County Sheriff's Office to handle the extradition of the defendant to Hartford County. And once the defendant has been transported back to Hartford County, prosecution will commence. Thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce to you all Patricia Morin.
So sad. I'm glad this family finally gets some closure.
I'm going to make this really short because I'm very emotional. I just want to take this time to thank all of the law enforcement for all their hard work. I know that a lot of times we don't see what goes on behind the scenes. You know, you see the policeman in the car when you write you a ticket, but you don't see the real work that happens behind. And around Christmas time, we did a canvassing with Hartford County, thank you. And they brought us into a room and I could see all the people that were involved. And that's not even all the external agencies that were involved. And it just gave me such hope that they really did care about our family, my daughter, that they were going to work diligently to find the person that murdered her. At one point, when things seemed like really bleak and hopeless, the lead detective said to me, he said, patience will win in the end. And that's what they've been doing. They've been diligently working very hard, and they've been patiently working through all of the leads. And it's because of that that we have an arrest today. So I'm very thankful and just very grateful to these men. And I'm also very grateful to the press because you kept her story alive so that people would still continue to send in tips. And that helped them to do their job. So I want to thank the press as well. But I don't know if this is, oops, sorry about that. I don't know if this is kosher or not. I'm gonna step away from the pulpit. But I think we should applaud them just because I am so grateful that they have brought us to this place. Because at some of the points during this, I didn't think that we were ever going to have an end, that it was going to be a cold case. So I would like to applaud them.
That's so sad.
Thank you. And it's a case that touched us all. So with that, we are going to take some questions. As Christy said, this is still an active investigation. So there's some things that we're not free to speak about or won't be speaking about. So with that, does anybody have any questions that we can answer for any of the speakers?
I have a question. I want to know if you can a little bit what actually happened.
Good thing they have a microphone for the people that are asking questions. Come on.
Well, I'm very familiar with ICE detainers.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure.
Yes, we are a. There has been an ICE detainer filed on him because he is in this country illegally out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He would not be deported before answering for these charges. So I honestly believe that's the last place he wants to go. I think, sad statement is our jails are better here than they are in El Salvador. And he's going to spend, God willing, the rest of his days behind bars.
Can't hear the questions.
Investigators are still working. I mean, he worked a few odd jobs that we are familiar with. Did not live a very, expensive lifestyle. But this is a free country. You can, once you're in it, you can move from one jurisdiction to the next, very freely. And he did that from El Salvador into the United States to Los Angeles. Unfortunately, here to Harford County. Again, down in Prince George's County, we had him in the Virginia area, and then all the way out to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Wow.
And in the year he's been in the country, a little year plus, who knows where
1
else he's
year.
been. And it's a fear of mine. It's a fear of our investigators.
1 year.
And, as Patty said, our investigators took this case to heart, as they do all the cases. But this case, they took to heart, and they worked so hard and have an emotional tie to it that I got off on a tangent. That they I lost my train of thought. Investigators are working that. We certainly know he has connections down in the DC area, both Virginia and Prince George's County. But again, as he moved around the country, there were places that we believe he probably had associates, and he has ties to known gangs. So we believe that's how he lived his life. That's where I was going before. We fear all the time, the investigators fear that we're going to stumble across another crime that just hasn't been tied back through DNA or some other science or electronic, tie, that the evidence just hasn't reached the point where we get a hit. But right now, what we're familiar with is the crime in Los Angeles, the home invasion in March of 2023, the homicide here of Rachel in August of 2023. And I believe in Tulsa, he's facing some local charges as well for last night. I think trespassing or disorderly or something to that effect. We're not familiar with any other. I'm not familiar with any other charges. No, in El Salvador, there is a what's called a red notice. A red notice, which is basically an Interpol warrant for his arrest to bring him back there to stand for the homicide of the woman in that case down there. Well, and I gotta defer to our partners at the FBI on that one because they did most of the international.
Thanks, sir. So the FBI has personnel that are positioned throughout the world. They're called legal attaches. And we have a legal attache that is in El Salvador. As we were conducting some of the investigative actions along with Hartford County, the some of the investigative information took us to El Salvador and working with our partners there in order to understand some of the familial ties that that are down there, and also bring together back a better understanding of the red notice that Sheriff Gaylor brought up as well. I don't have any information.
As I understand it, there was about, I don't know how many hours they're behind, 2, 3, Tulsa. So it was midnight our time, and he was hanging out at a business park or a storefront, and the police encountered him, and apparently there's a charge of, we say it's trespassing, and he was identified during that arrest and processing. Well, and that's been a question since the outset. You know, was Rachel's homicide random or targeted? And again, I don't know that we have that answer explicitly or completely. But at this point, there's nothing to indicate that anyone other than him was involved. We do have some belief that he spent some time here in the Bel Air area, so he may have seen her and her more or less routine operations. One of the things that we caution people, particularly women on the trail, about doing was developing a routine where it can be predicted where you might be. That would be my suspicion. If he decides to talk throughout the course of the days ahead to either investigators or prosecutors as it moves to that stage, we may learn more about, was it just an opportunity because he was on the trail when, you know, unfortunately she decided to go out exercising that day, or was it something more specific? As to the motive, you know, we've been tight-lipped, I guess, about it. The charges in the case are first-degree murder and first-degree rape.
See ya.
And as the colonel just reminded me to say, we do have right now in the air, we have sent investigators to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to follow up on many things related to this investigation. It's very active and ongoing, as I said. He will be extradited here eventually, and that will be done. That process has already been initiated, but it could take, as I understand, the state's attorney 10 to 30 days. 10 days if he doesn't fight it. 30 days if he decides to fight it, but he will be extradited. 30 to 60.
I'm not really sure if you really hear that so often.
I wish we could hear what they were saying. There's no microphone.
Absolutely. So I think a lot of folks know genetic genealogy or investigative genetic genealogy in some of the cold cases, and certainly has gotten a lot of attention from the Golden State Killer, and since then a lot of investigations on the cold case side. I think folks should also know that we prioritize the violent crime cases that are current, and that this is an game-changing investigative tool to understand when there are dry holes and there's no other leads to go, that we can apply the investigative genealogy to identify potentially family members, and then in doing that, take it on to a step where Hartford County and our partners can conduct interviews to better understand who the potential subjects are and narrow down that scope. We also use it on, unfortunately, the victim side when we can't identify a victim through any other means. and building out the cases that way. We've seen over time 130 cases thus far since 2018 that have had successfully used investigative genetic genealogy.
Idaho 4. That's a big holdup in that case right now.
Well, he was encountered by the police and the agents for the FBI who were out there looking for him. So they had an idea of where he was. But I know that from that encounter, there's also a local charge of trespassing, not in a vehicle. He was apparently at that business, I guess, unwantedly so. He was. We already had the name. We had the arrest warrant. So when they encountered him, they knew he was wanted. So he
I
was
agree,
picked up for
Tim.
that. Oh, certainly, this is the more serious, the loss of life. California will follow up on their investigation. They would have to direct questions to that police. It's LAPD that is handling that as far as specifics to their investigation. But certainly, we have been in communication. Our investigators have been in communication with theirs. They are aware that we identified the suspect here, and by identifying our suspect, we have their suspect. They have their suspect, and they can move forward on charges. They would also file the arrest warrant on file. So, I never want him to leave Maryland again. I want him to die in the Maryland jail, Maryland prison system. We don't have the death penalty, so I just hope he spends the rest of his days there. But if he ever got out of this one, he would be sent extradited to California. And if he got out of that one, there's still the red folder, the red notice where El Salvador would want him back, and ICE has marked him for detainer. So he would go back there to face those charges. I do not know. No. I see the major in the back is shaking his head no, he does not. And again, we shared the picture. You all will have the picture. It's going to be, no doubt out there on social media. So we're still looking for information. He was in this area for at least some period of time. And when I say the area, he was in the Bel Air area for some period of time before or right after the homicide, or both.
Probably not going to happen, Cindy.
Still have information.
I have some
And now
updates
that
to
there's
share.
a name to put with the face, investigators still want to talk to you. We still want to know. We still want to build that timeline, because there's a case to prosecute, and we want to put all the pieces together so that Miss Healy can do her job most successfully, and again, ensure this guy never sees the light of day.
So this guy might be a
Not that
potential
we're
suspect in
familiar.
other crimes. That's what I'm getting the vibe here. And that's why this is still an
Thank you
open
all.
investigation.
And again, thank our partners. To have Rachel's family here means so much to not me. I mean, to me, of course, but to the investigators who work this case tirelessly. I appreciate that, and I appreciate all of our federal, state, and local partners. So with that, thank you. Oh, okay.
We made a decision earlier today that we are not going to share this suspect's photo on our social media. It was here. If you have, if you would like a copy of the flyer,
Fucking
you can
weak.
send an email to media@hartfordsheriff.org.
Put its face out
and I will
there.
send it to you if you would like to use it in your newscast, but we will not share his picture on any of our social media.
Weak.
Any other questions?
Weak.
Right. Thank you.
Put his face out there. Let everybody know. It could potentially help some other individuals. Maybe he was involved in another crime. Say, hey, I remember that guy. I remember that guy being around someone that I know that went missing. Unreal. We're not going to share the photo. Unreal. Listen, just really quick before I end this. Someone asked me about Chelsea Grimm. The update on Chelsea Grimm is this. Her parents have completely shut down. Her sister has completely stopped talking. There is a new private investigator that is on that case. And from the understanding in that, with the new private investigator, they're not getting anywhere with him either. So sadly, Chelsea Grimm will probably another missing person that goes missing forever and will never be found. And it's very sad that the family is treating this case like that and treating their daughter like that. It's pretty disgusting. But real quick, I'll just give you my final thought here. All this. So it's excellent closure for Rachel Morin's family. Tragic incident that happened here in Baltimore, Maryland. Like I said, this was a case that I followed about a year ago when it first came up. We did a bunch of lives on it, and then it just kind of went cold for a while because there was no new information. But, you know, listen, I know this thing got very political. It's going to get very political. You're going to see this across all of the airways. All the political commentators will use this for content. You know, I'll just do this real quick. Here's a graph from 2000 all the way up to 2023. And this is 2023 ended with more migrant encounters in the U.S.-Mexico border than any month on record. And it's not even 2024. I'm sure it has gone up since there. Okay. I'll just do it like this. Obviously, we had a huge problem over here. Obviously, looks like we did pretty well over here. And over here is is incredibly out of control. Congress has the power to change all of this. They need to work together to change our policies. I myself, just what I am saying here on my channel, I want every single person that wants to come here the right way, make sure that I'm getting that very clear, that comes here the right way, goes through the process to come here the right way, and becomes someone that is productive in our society here in the United States. I'm all for that. There may be some people that have family members here that want to come and be with their family members, but they come over and do it the right way. I know a lot of people that have gone through that process, and it costs them thousands and thousands of dollars in years of waiting to come here to be with their families, or just to come to work, to be for a better, you know, for a better life, and pay their taxes and be a law-abiding, contributing citizen to our country. No problem with that, but you need to do it the right way. And obviously, there's a huge problem in this country right now, especially, and we can just see by this graph, if you want to go by that graph, it's a quick graph that I just pulled up. Obviously, there's a major problem at the border. If you want to go tit for tat for this president, that president, we can. Bottom line, it comes down to this. Congress has the power to change all this. We need complete reform in Washington. These people are just in there to line their pockets. The bottom line. And some of these people have been in there 30, 40, 50 years. And it's that cycle, the definition of insanity. I don't know why the American people continue to grow, to continue to vote these same people in. Why? Because they get up around election time and say, oh yeah, we're going to make some changes. Trust me. Well, I'm going to go with that guy because he's going to say that finally he's going to make some changes. How about this? How about this? Do a little bit of research on your candidates in your area and around the country, specifically your local, because I've talked about this a lot. Local means a lot. That is your community. That's where you live. Stop looking at DNR and look at what these people's policies are and dig into them. Do they hold the credibility of the policies that they say? Obviously, no. We have a huge problem and it needs to change. But anyway, I digress. Local, it does mean a lot. Local means a lot. And I've said this over and over again. What is happening in Canton for my Free Karen Reed supporters here, for my Karen Reed people here? What is happening in Canton? The corruption has gone on for too long and it needs to change. You have the power to do that. Look into your affiliated people that are running for your communities, that want to lead your communities, do some research on them. And then when it's time to get out there and vote, get off your ass and go out and vote, because your vote does matter. A lot of people, I see it, you know, everybody after an election, especially in my city, people are bitching about it. And then you look at the population of my city, let's just say it's 50,000 people, okay? 50,000 people in my area. And then you look at the vote totals and it's like 9,000 people voted overall. Well, yeah, you're going to lose. If you can win over 5,000 people, that's it. You're at a disadvantage because only 4,000 more people are going to vote. You know, a total of 9,000 people voting is not good. So get out, get in your communities and change these change your policies in your area, because you got to live there. You got to live there. But anyway, I am going to head out. I have a premiere in about 20 minutes. You guys can see that. roll over into the next video after this. I appreciate everybody being here this afternoon, and this is going to get crazy. It's going to get very political, and I'll be curious to see what rolls out here on Monday when we get our Monday morning news. So we'll see how this all plays out. But I appreciate everybody jumping in really quick. Again, very spontaneous. I'm glad that Rachel Morin's family has somewhat some closure here, and maybe we can get a hold on if this guy is implicated in any type of other crime or murders. Obviously, there was something out in California, an assault and an assault on a younger underage girl as well. And hopefully this brings justice to that case as well too. All right, everybody, I'm going to head out. Enjoy your afternoon. Hope you can watch the premiere after this video. I would appreciate it. And I'll see you next time live. Bye, everybody. Have a good day.